As an overlander, I never thought I'd get myself bogged this badly. Will we get ourselves out or have to overnight on the mountain? Maybe the next day we're going to have to walk out. Stay tuned to find out if we get our vehicles out or have to sleep that night under the stars next to our vehicles. My name is Marcus Wyatt. Join me as I share my passion for four-wheel drives and traveling to the remotest parts of New Zealand. If you enjoy these videos, please support me by buying me a coffee on Patreon. Join the Explore Track New Zealand team now. The McCormick's Creek Bridge is the last of the original archstone bridges still to be seen on the Old Coach Road in Central Otago. The bridge is there, it's a little bit damaged so you can't go walking over it, but pretty nice. The replacement Highway 85 bridge was opened in 1962. We had to stop at the Hyde McRae's Road Bridge. The bridge just looked gorgeous as it spanned the Tairi River. Shortly after, we met up with my mate Quinton. One of the first things he said to us was, "Let me take you up to K Creek for a gin and tonic." So off we went up the Rock and Pillar Range. Quinton and his dog Spot in his cruiser, followed by myself and Sharon in my cruiser. The next day, our trip across the Rock and Pillar Range started off nice and relaxed. Quinton organised permission from two station owners to be able to follow the track from Hamilton's Diggings on the Redfurley side of the Rock and Pillar Range all the way to where the track meets the Old Dunstan Road. There is a Department of Conservation locked access gate on the Hamilton Diggings Road. You need to contact the Alexandra Department of Conservation office to get the combination to unlock this gate. The four-wheel drive track is open to vehicles from the 1st of November to the 30th of April, but this access is only for the Western Rock and Pillar Conservation Area. At the end of the four-wheel drive track, there is another locked gate, but this time you need a key. Luckily, we had the landowner's approval and a key, so we were able to continue on. The track was very bumpy and rough. You can clearly see the track is not used often. So we were not making a lot of progress as we were crawling along in first or second gear low. Quinton did warn us the previous night that there was some serious wet patches on the top of the mountain and that we should be very careful. We decided that Daniel in the Jeep should be in front since he doesn't have a winch. So if he gets stuck, I can winch him back. If I get stuck behind him, I can use the Jeep as an anchor to winch forward. The one thing I did not bring on this trip was my land anchor. In the South Island of New Zealand and especially in Otago high country, you seriously need a land anchor. There is no trees to winch off. But I thought most of the trip we will be in a convoy of vehicles, so I should be okay with other vehicles serving as an anchor. As you enter the stretch of the track where we got stuck, the left wheel rut had surface water in it, and you can see how we both tried to place our left wheel on the inside of that rut. What we did not realize is that our right wheel will now be positioned off the gravel-filled area and be over the bog hidden by the surface grass. We were virtually driving 20 centimeters too far to the right, and once the wheels broke through the grass, they sank about half a meter into the bog. It was incredible how deep that bog was. My cruiser did not break the surface of the bog instantly. Only once I tried to reverse the vehicle out did the right wheel break the surface and the cruiser suddenly started leaning badly. Now what? Went through my mind. Now we have both vehicles stuck in the bog. I can't winch the Jeep too far backwards, and similarly my vehicle can't be winched too far forward. We quickly realized that pulling the vehicles too close to each other won't be a good idea. The first idea was to winch Daniel backwards, trying to get his rear wheels into the top rut. That way he could be an anchor for me to winch out with. It took me a while to figure out why the winch wasn't working. Then it hit me. You've not turned on the winch insulator inside of the engine bay. As we winched back, it started to look really good. The Jeep leveled out and the rear looked like it got out of the bog. The right front wheel was still in a precarious area over the bog, but we had an idea. The plan was to use the shovels to create grooves for the left rear to climb up and into the rut, and so the digging started. At this point, I think we both realized we are in a very sticky situation here. As the Jeep started moving back, the rear immediately started to sink. Then we tried with max tracks to move the Jeep forward and back on the track without much luck. The angle and the grass meant that as soon as you tried to position the vehicle to the left moving forward, it would just slide back into the muddy rut on the right. Eventually, 1.5 hours into the recovery, we resorted to walking to the hill in front and finding flat shale rock, which we used in conjunction with the max tracks to build a literal bridge for the tires to ride on. The rut we've created with our efforts to get out so far was now getting so big and mushy that the max tracks on their own could not cope with it anymore. We packed the rocks and then used the max tracks on top of the rocks. It was a matter of moving forward 3/4 the length of a max track, then resetting the flat rock now exposed and the other 2 max tracks, then moving forward onto the 2 new max tracks, then rinse and repeat. After about 2.5 hours, we had the Jeep on solid ground. At this point, we were very relieved. Next, it was the cruiser's turn. The same plan was executed, but this time we could control the forward movement of the cruiser better using the winch. The whole recovery took us about 3 hours. We were both ecstatic when both vehicles were on solid ground. I can tell you, it was one hell of an experience.